welcome. This is Kevin, also known as AWOL, and today we're going to put together two patterns. This is my template I've got out. We're going to put two patterns together in this one template. So first, let's take our pattern here. This is 16645 on friendshipbracelets.net, and if we go to image, we can transform it and rotate it 90 degrees. So there we go, 90 degrees. And image, we can scale the image. Let's make it a little bit bigger. Let's see if that works. So we copy this and paste it over here. There. So we move. I already put it onto a new layer, and now I can let's see. I can shift it over off to the side somewhere. That's fine for now. Yeah, that works. All right, let's do this one. Same way. Image, we transform, rotate it clockwise, and then image, scale image. And I'm just adding 100 to the width, which seems to be reasonably bigger. Not huge. Control V. We'll also put it to a new layer, and then we can move it to the other side. So the gist of this is going to be that I'm going to try to take these two patterns and make one bracelet out of it. And I'm going to make it so that way it looks like you're wearing two bracelets, if that makes sense. Neither of these flip perfectly well, but yeah, we'll just kind of work with it as we can. So I'm going to grab the paint bucket, and I'm going to go down to our bottom layer, which is the template. And we are fill similar selections, so that we're good. So now with the control button, I can actually take the color from our sample here and put it in over here. So let's first kind of maybe move this to how we might align it. I think that makes sense there. So this goes 1, 2, 3, 4 in the long row, back 3 with 1, back 3, 4, right? And then over on this side, it's kind of mirroring it. Not sure. Not sure we're getting it right. Let's back this up. It would appear to me that what we're getting wrong is this. It has to be up a line. Do this the way we want. So let's scoot this up again and try it. Here. So this orange color, the darker of the two, it's all the way in the corner here. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? 1, 2, 3, 4. In 3. Up 1. Back 3, so it's back in the corner again. Back 4 again. 2, 4. So this is a little on the confusing side. That's essentially it, and then it's got this kind of mirroring it over here. It came in, but it doesn't. It's not actually in that corner. It comes in here. And just kind of mirrors it. Right? Up 1. No, somehow we've got it wrong again. Why? Because it only goes 2 at this point. So yeah, I can't go quite as far in one, then back. And then back to the edge again. Right, and so let's add the yellow in to make this all make more sense. So this yellow is here. So there's the 4. There's the 3. Out 1. 2, 3. To there. Back to the 4. 3, 1, 3. Wow. So yeah, this, needless to say, this over here is going to be a pretty tricky sort of maneuver to do. A lot of zigzags, and it's just these two colors, so it shouldn't be too difficult, I guess. It's just a matter of keeping track of where you are. So, 4, 3, 1, 4, 3, up like that. So now it should be easier for me to just use, oops, this is a guideline because it just follows along. In fact, we can do both sides, right? And I feel like this one isn't going to be too terrible because it's really repetitive. So once you kind of get the hang of doing it, I suspect it'll just kind of fall into its own little rhythm. Okay, so now there is a yellow on the side of this. So there's the bump out where it's the 3, and then this is the one where it does 1. It's a little bit confusing on the templates that friendshipbracelet.net gives you, but you get the same thing from Friendship Bracelet book. It's the same kind of difficult thing. And over here we just have the occasional single yellow. Like that. And you can see I haven't done the middle row yet at all. We will eventually get to that. But first, let's see what we got going on with this one. We don't use the black color when filling in things because of the black lines on the outside of these boxes. So I will go with a gray instead. Right to the edge there. Right, and then this comes out. This comes back this way. So this one seems a little bit tricky in the how do you get it to keep changing colors inside these little boxes. Once we get to the underlying strings, I'm sure I'll be able to figure it out. But at the moment, it's like, that's a little interesting. Now, one of the things you might have noticed if you've been around this channel for a while is that this seems like there's a lot more space to let the pattern develop on this. And there you would be right. This is, I am cutting string to be single-stranded. And the reason for that is I want to do a bunch of these where the colors are kind of similar and doing a thing. So as the month goes on, I think you'll get a better gist of kind of what I'm striving for. But for now, let me just assure you that yes, I am making life difficult on myself. Oh, this is neat. I didn't realize this before. I knew it was every other one, but every other one is in a direction. So that means it's just the green going to the left. And then it's the blue that's going to the right. That's kind of... Alright, so now comes a trickier part of this whole process where I have to put in the underlying strings to it. And I am kind of curious, not sure what I'm going to do for the background of this. It was like a white background. I guess I've got white string, I can do that. So the neat thing about having a bracelet where it looks like it's two, but it's really only one, is when they're on your arm, it doesn't have one sliding underneath the other. So it's kind of spaces them out. And it makes for a kind of a fun little thing to do where if you've got a group of friends, you can have bits that match, you know. So that's always kind of cool. Let's say you have three very close friends. Each one of you can have a pattern that represents yourself. And so on your friend, they have the two patterns that reflect, well, on you, you have a pattern that reflects the other two people. And on them, they each have a bracelet that is reflecting two people, but it doesn't, it doesn't reflect themselves in their own bracelet, right? So yeah, you could have three bracelets using three patterns and make it so that way they're really predominant and kind of fun. I think this is a great way of really doing an expression that can't be kind of really done any other way. Well, you can do it with individual bracelets, but the way that they hang on your wrist and stuff, that could be... Let's say this green one starts here. do something for the white. Let's make it like a yellow. If this strand is, we can have the blue coming in from here, right? So the blue comes in. Where does it go until it's needed again? Here, perhaps? So where's this green? Let's take these out of here. So this is perplexing. I'm not quite sure what I'm doing with this now. See, if this is green coming across here, this won't work because one of this would either have to be either blue or green, and it doesn't do that. So green has to come across here. This is white, this is white. This one. Let's see. This is white and this is white. This one here comes out. That's good. That's good. And then this can be a white, this can be a white. We need this to be white as well. So green has to turn. So we have the white out here. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So yeah, there's another white out here. Alright, so let's let this one take over the center. Well, we can leave these blue, but there is another white. That's what's... okay. So this is white. Great. We can now take the green. So there's a white and a green coming to that spot. Okay, so now it's making a little bit more sense. So this can come out this way. We still have a white here, a white there. Green comes this way and this way. White is from over here. Got it. Okay, so I was trying to do it in 7 strings instead of all 8, which is where that all went wrong. Okay, so now we have, this is a white coming through this way, white coming this way, and one from over here. So this one can go straight. This one can go straight. 3 of them can come across this way, hiding the blue there. The green bounces out, so that's our white for in the side. and this blue comes through this way. I knew it's a small pattern. It shouldn't have been too difficult, right? But it's one of those trying to make it fit, make it do what it's supposed to do. Kind of tricky. So now that I kind of know what the green does, I can just kind of go down the line, put it all in, because it just follows that same pattern. Okay, so when this flips, it's going to put two of the greens next to each other, and like it's going to change the whole direction of this, but that's okay. That's kind of part of the fun of it. So the blue one here comes out all the way to the edge, and then right here. Hit the outer line and not inside the box. There we go. Alright. And all of the rest of these gets this off white. In this case we got yellow, but it's off white. Well, it can be anything we want it to be. We can play with this pattern endlessly if we like. I do like how they came about the whole getting the colors to change for every other one. I think that's kind of a neat thing for this particular pattern. So one of these two bracelets has to go through the center, unless we made it to where they like only connect at the top and at the bottom, which is a possibility. You could do that, but I'm going to connect it all the way down, and I'm thinking I'm going to do it with the ones from the right hand side. Given a choice of the two, kind of favoring it so far, but I'm leaving that for a little bit after, kind of see how it goes. I'm not ready to commit to that idea just yet. I want to see the other one get developed. So this is obviously taking a little bit longer than some of the other designs I've come up with. It's a little bit more complicated, and it's more knots, right? Because we're going to go single-stranded. There's more knots from the beginning to the end. So, yeah. Let's see if we can wait on that. All right. And I kind of like coming along, following a string and making sure that everything is lining up as it should, that the whole thing makes sense. And it is. It's kind of clear that some of these strings have their own path to do, and it's not going to exchange quite evenly. That's not a bad thing, but it might mean that one string gets used more than another, and it's something that I'll have to keep an eye on as I'm making it. so that way we don't run into any kind of mishaps or run out of string in one spot. Although single-stranded, it doesn't, each knot doesn't take up as much, so that's kind of good. All right, so that whole side is done. Let's figure out this other side. This should be fairly simple. My thought here is we just kind of follow these ones that we can see and then see what we're left with to figure out what goes on underneath. Now, putting together a bracelet like this does take a lot more work of like maybe watching the pattern and making sure that you're not making a mistake, because there's so much more going on, and it definitely makes segment knotting more difficult. So just things to keep in mind when you're working on this. You might need a printout. You could do a printout onto a piece of paper so you could follow along, cross off what you've accomplished, or do it on a computer where you could do the same. Or maybe you'll just be able to kind of count where you're at and do it that way. But regardless, it's a little bit trickier. Hang on. Got a couple little mishaps in there. Okay, so those are the two red ones. I don't know if it goes up to the top or the back. So this yellow one here. That. I'm imagining that we can do this every other color. I'm not sure how it starts out to get it to there. I'd kind of like to see the original, see how they did it. This is a red. Here. It would come in this way. This one, and back down this way. Yeah, see, they're gonna get changed up a lot. If this is then a yellow, it comes in. I mean, this is just a crazy mix-up bunch, but that's, if we make it every other one, that's kind of how it turns out up there. So now I have to keep track, 2 reds in, 2 reds out. That way. Get a yellow over here. So there's very little going on with this that would give me reason to want to put this bracelet as the dots that go in the center. So I think this is really cementing in my idea of how I wanted this to go. There, hang on, 2 yellows in, 2 yellows out. Put in the one row where I know that it's all just yellows here. It's such a bizarre pattern. It really is kind of. It's not your normal zigzag, and you've got so much going on underneath. Definitely this is not very beginner friendly. I had imagined, since they were smaller, like 8-string bracelets, I had imagined that we were just going to take a couple easy ones and make it a little challenging, but not quite like this. Yes, this can come in this way. This red, makes that a red, make that a red. So at any point you're curious if you made a mistake, you can count like this. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 yellows versus 1, 2, 3 reds. So yeah, nope, there's a mistake. Let's go back up here. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we have 4 reds here. That comes down, that's coming down, these are coming down. 2, 3, 4 here. Ah, see, this is the one. Got 1 red coming in, don't have 1 coming back out. So, that is how you find out if you made a mistake or not. And I'm glad to have caught it early on. So 1, 2, 3, 4 yellows, rest are red, perfect. 2 in, 2 out. So it looks like this string here just does a bunch of the work over here on the side. Red over here. Going over this way. Here as well. 2 reds, has to be 2 reds up. I'm pretty sure some of this is getting kind of changed around. That it's not perfectly doing the same thing. Basically, I'm making it the pattern, but some of the smaller elements can be changed up inside of it, which isn't necessarily bad, but it might make it a little bit tougher when trying to do the pattern. Like, you know, wait, I was doing something a minute ago, why is it changed? Well, because it made sense in the moment. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So now suddenly we have 2 yellows all the way over here on the left hand side. I don't know if we did different, but our reds. So you can see I keep counting just to make sure that I'm still on course to getting this thing completed correctly. So there's 4 reds there. 4 yellows, yeah. There's the red. This one's also red, and that one's yellow. So that completes that whole side. So there's our 2 designs, and we could do either side. Like, this could be a red dot in the center, or it could be the off-white from the other side. Like I was saying, it seems kind of so sporadic what's kind of going over here on the left that it just makes sense to do it with the off-white of this side. It just makes this side a little bit wider, but it'll give it a kind of a cool look. So there. So now we can hide our 2 little template things, grab our select tool, and grab this whole top half. Choose this on the line. Our line that we started out with is a little bit off, so back to that slip. And we can get right onto the line. Otherwise, it just makes it look a little funny, a little sloppy when we do it. All right, so we got Control-C, Control-V, copy and paste, and then we'll get our flip tool and come down to the guideline, and it'll automatically want to flip it the right direction. Go back to select, and we can anchor it. And there is our bracelet. All nice and completed. So there you have it, guys. Thank you very much for hanging out with me. This has been awesome. I'd like to thank my YouTube members for making this possible. I really can't do it without these guys. I need to have floss in order to make these things, and that's partly why I'm doing these thinner, is because I'm kind of running low on floss. So I'm trying to kind of make do with what I've got for now. So all right, thanks for watching, and as always, don't get your strings in a bunch.